Learn more, Jaren John.
Hi Jay, hello. Let's start. Hello everyone, welcome to this demo session on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. Thank you so much for all your trust and patience for waiting for this demo. Some of you have already enrolled for the video course, and if you're willing to join the live training from today onwards, we are starting a new batch. So your existing video access will be stopped and you will be taken into this live batch. With this live batch, we will have a daily 1 hour class in the morning India time on weekdays, and immediately after the session you will see the class recording will be available to you. So in case if you miss any session, you will be able to look at that session through the video recording. This course, as you all know, is divided into 4 parts. Most of us are coming from ABAP background, object oriented ABAP background, WebDin Pro, Basis, BI, BO, or DSP technology, WebDin Pro Java. So we all come from different technologies. But now we are seeing an industry shift towards SAP UI5 and Fiori. Nobody is talking conventional ABAP programming, conventional dialog programming, module pool programming. Everybody is looking towards a resource who can work on SAP UI5, Fiori, and OData. That's the changing need in the industry. And I changed myself around 4 years back. And it has given me great returns. And I think same applies to all of us today here, that we are seeing a great shift. So either we are getting into some project in our company where the Fiori is coming in, or we are seeing that the current project is no longer giving us a good return. So hence we would like to go towards new approaches and understand these new approaches so that we can get better job opportunities within the company or outside the company. This whole course is divided into 4 parts. As I mentioned, our background is not a web developer background. So I need to first prepare a fundamental for all of us. So this will be the foundation. So basic foundation for UI5, which includes HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. So lot many people come and ask me, Anubhav, what is the prerequisite for this course? I would say zero prerequisite. There is no prerequisite. If you are just college pass out, it's more than enough for you to get started with SAP UI5 and Fiori. Yes, regarding OData, there is a prerequisite of ABAP, which is Advanced Business Application Programming, which some of you may already know. But even though in OData also, I will show you a technique called service generation technique, for which there is no prerequisite. So if you are working as a functional consultant into SAP area, this course is also applicable for you. It is not like it's only for developers. So a functional consultant can also come and learn because there is no prerequisite. I will cover everything from scratch from the beginning as you are college pass out. We will also talk about setting up the environment in our local systems, how to set up Eclipse, how to set up JDK, what are all the prerequisites, setting up the toolkit, and getting started with the development with our local machine. There is no server access required, at least for first 3 modules. It's absolutely free. Either we will use SAP Web IDE or we will be using Eclipse. Both of them will be our preferred IDE to get started with the development. So you don't need any server access for these 3 modules. Moving to the second module, we will talk about SAP UI5 framework and controls. We will understand the architecture of SAP UI5, which is more or less MVC, model view controller approach. In models, we'll talk about different models like JSON, XML, resource, and OData model. In views, we will talk about XML, JavaScript, JSON, and HTML type of views. We'll talk about controllers in detail, their look and feel, their architecture, and their basic flow of calling different methods. Then we'll discuss the libraries related to SAP UI5 like SAP UI Shell Control, SAP UI.Table, SAP UI Commons, SAP Suite UI Control, because though these libraries have been marked deprecated, still there are projects which are still using these libraries. So we never know if you get into some maintenance project where you may encounter these libraries. Hence, we will cover about these libraries in depth. Moving to the third and most important part, Fiori introduction and application development from scratch. We will here discuss about SAP.M library, the user interface and user experience. So over a period of time, you will start understanding these terms. which a lot of developers and people are using in your company. So you are already in a project, you may find it difficult to relate it to the real time. Hence, this project will also clarify all your doubts regarding the terms which are used in SAP Fiori. We will talk about master detail type of application, app control, split app control, different variety of control, list control, different types of list switch, drop downs, combo boxes, all these type of controls to develop an end-to-end Fiori user experience, just like you look at a standard Fiori app. That's not all. We will also talk about most important standards to build a Fiori. See, anybody can build SAP Fiori application by doing copy paste. But copy paste is not our motto. Our motto is to write every single line of code one by one, understand what it is mean and how does it impact your project, and also understand the standards. There are a lot of standards which SAP Fiori application follows, named as component.js, router, route match handler, manifest.json. All these are different standards which every Fiori app has to have. Otherwise, your integration will not work, or it will not be called as Fiori-like app. So we will talk about all these standards in detail. And it is my challenge that nobody will cover this this course content what I am covering on internet. It is my open challenge. And even though they cover, they will all cover by copy paste. They don't know concept. They will have ready-made examples. They will copy these examples from somewhere, paste it. They will show you the output and they will go through the code and they will say the training is over. And if you want to go for such kind of training, it's absolutely free of cost. All the material is available on internet. Just attend at one or two demo classes from my site, and then you know where to copy and where to paste. With that, you are easily good to go ahead with copy paste approach of building the project. If you want to understand the concepts in depth, welcome all of you to my course. If you are willing to go with copy paste approach, you don't need to spend money, guys. It's very simple. You can just simply go take some examples from internet, copy it, paste it, and make it built. If that is the way you want to go ahead. So that will be uniqueness what you'll find between my course and other courses available on internet. Then we will talk about custom control development and Google Map integration in the Fiori itself. So these are some more advanced topics which we will talk about. Then I will discuss about OData as a framework. What is OData? Whenever I start, I always start with what is that thing is about. I will never start, let's build an OData. I will start, what is OData first of all? Why OData? Which are all the companies using OData? What are all the different techniques in OData? And then after you understand, we will consume the OData service in our Fiori application. And then we will move on to the last step, which is building an OData service in NetWeaver gateway system end-to-end, performing all the CRUD operations. All the CRUD operations mean create, update, read, and delete. So that's what will be covered. Complementarily, you will also get object-oriented ABAP sessions as part of this training. In that, you will get basics of object-oriented ABAP, including all the concepts relating to object-oriented ABAP. So that will be helpful for you to build an OData service end-to-end using OOPS ABAP. So this is all in a nutshell I can talk about. Towards the end, we will also have a small introduction on SAP Web IDE. So this is the most important and prerequisite course for anything or everything you will go ahead in SAP Fiori end to end, from the bottom to the top. And then if you want to go for more advanced module like enhancement concept, extensibility, installation, role creation, catalogs, groups, launchpad integration, theme designer, all these things, if you want to custom branding, if you want to go with all these things, you can take my next course, which is SAP Web IDE and Launchpad course from my website. But for that, again, I don't recommend you to go for any course until you complete this. This is the bare minimum. Is you can consider this as an antibiotic which you have to take with the main medicine. So main medicine will not work until you take antibiotic. So this is the main antibiotic which you have to take it, guys. Without this, there is no meaning whatsoever you take it. This is the starting point for SAP UI5 and Fiori. I do not recommend you to go for any advanced course or any module. A lot of people will talk about Web IDE, templates, master detail, work list, integrations. Don't go with that. There's no meaning. You will not understand that until you cover all of this. And you will yourself see a difference after 4 or 5 classes. You'll start building yourself all the things. And what I will cover, I will show you in depth what's going on behind the scenes in the system. Yeah, that is what we will be talking about. So that's in a nutshell about the course. You can also check out some sample demo videos, because as I assume that nobody can make a decision until they really see 2 or 3 classes. So what I've done is I've created a small blog access where I have provided 4 or 5 classes, not just a demo class, because anybody can give a nice demo. But what about in depth? When you really take the course, what is that you're going to get? Are you really going to get the same quality as you saw in the demo? So for that, I've created a blog access where I posted some couple of videos in the middle, from the middle. So you can go to www.onlinefiorytrainings.com. This is the place where you can browse all the courses which are available. And then from there itself, you can jump to the blog where you can see Fiori specific videos, which you can really browse and determine how will be the quality of the course. So that's a very important decision. At least I take that decision as a student. So whenever I want to learn something, I go online. I don't rely on one single demo class. Instead, I would like to really browse and understand the depth of the trainer into the topic. So what you can see here is different courses which I am offering. So I was talking about this enhancement and launchpad course, which is the second course. For that, the prerequisite is the first course. And now you can see here there's a nice link. You can click on this. It takes you to the sample blog where you can browse more videos, not just one video. You can really check out 4 or 5 videos which I have. These are posted from the middle of the classes. So basically I have completed many batches on UI5, and I have taken out some of the videos of these existing batches and posted it directly on YouTube and on this website. So here you can go ahead and go through these videos and really understand, is this really making value for you? So I believe that you're spending some time and money, and it has to have some value. If it doesn't have a value, there's no meaning. Yeah, it doesn't have a value, then no meaning. So you really need to check out whether I can help you or not. Am I the right person you were looking for? Am I really going to give you the gyan which you really need to work ahead? Yeah, so that's very important point. So you can see here the course content about this course, and then you can see here some session recordings. So this is exactly what you're also going to get over a period of time. When we start the batch, I'm going to give you this kind of a blog access which is more private. So this is more like public, but I'm going to give you a private blog access where you will see all the video sessions. If you miss any class, you can actually cover that class from that video session. So here you can see some sample demos on component.js, Fiori tutorial, end-to-end configuration on Launchpad, Fiori tutorial, UI5 tutorial. All these are so many videos, 5 to 6 videos I have posted over here, and setting up the project in Eclipse. So all that I've posted here. Now, if you want to go ahead with a copy paste approach, you have a little bit idea, but you just don't know where to copy and where to paste. You can just go through these 4 or 5 videos and enough. You don't need to take my training, anybody's training at all. You can yourself go ahead with these videos, understand these things, and then copy paste the code and make the app built. That is also what you can also do. Now, in the real blog access, what I'm going to give you, let me show you a sample blog access which I have just completed a batch the day before. In that, what you're going to get, this is a real kind of blog access. What you're going to get in this, you will have a schedule of the course. When will be the course starting, when will it be ending? Then you have the course content in the next tab, which talks about all the different topics which I just discussed in a nutshell in 4 pages. And then you're going to have a class schedule where you're going to get all the links for the classes. So you don't have to follow with me every day, whether we have a session today or not. So here, if you look at, you will see an appointment, and you can just double click on the appointment, and then you can accordingly join the class on daily basis. So you don't need to ask me every day what will be the link to join the class. You can directly look at the appointment which is there in the session and double click on the appointment and join the class on daily basis according to that. So in case if I cancel any class, the appointment will be missed out from here. Yeah. So it's a complete self-service portal where all your needs, all your important information is at single place. That's what you're going to get along with this course. So in the session recordings, if you come, you will see all the demo videos plus the real training videos which we cover. So on daily basis, we will have one class, and right after the class, I'm going to post the video into the blog, and you will have a video access available for that. So in case if you miss a class, or if you miss something in the class, you can really go back and follow up the video. So you can see all the sessions which I have completed last training session, last batch. So all those videos are posted already here. You can see Fiori controls, list modes, table control, fragments, formatters, custom control, Google Map integration, component JS, OData introduction, object-oriented, complementary object-oriented web app sessions, which I talked about, and then router, route match handler, gateway architecture, get entity, OData development, association, navigation, image processing, calling OData from Fiori, web IDE, all that is covered here. So you can also take complete video course end to end. There's no need. If you feel your timings are not matching, you really don't want to spend time on daily coming to the sessions, you can really go with video based training. Just take a blog access and you can get started with video based training wherein you can cover the course with your own speed, with your own pace. You don't need to be punctual into the classes. And then you have session presentation, study material, whatever we cover in the class, I'm going to cover into a PPT, all the notes. Then you're going to have the projects which we will be creating. All this you can really download and keep it with you lifetime. There's no bondage. So all the PPTs, presentations, PDFs, documents, projects, everything will be available under this section for study material and course presentation. You can also see the versions here. All the versions of that will be also available. So you can see 31 versions for this PPT, 9 versions for this single project. So all that will be available in this. Then all the links which we will see, let's say I'm showing some link, okay, get this from there. So all the links will be also available. Installation links, download links will be available under this single section. You will have my contact number, my contact details. You can always call me back in case if you're stuck with something, if you have any questions, any doubts. Of course, we have to set up a time. I will not be available 24/7, but yes, we need to discuss if you have something in your mind. Then if you have any doubts when you're going through the classes, you can always post your doubts over here. You can post your questions over here, and I will be answering those questions into the blog itself. So this is more like, discussion portal where you can post your questions and I will be answering your questions into this. So that's about the blog access. So any questions, guys, before we proceed with the demo class? So I've gone through all the modules. What is that I'm going to cover, how I'm going to cover, what will be the flow, and how are you going to access all the study material, and about the server access. Any questions before we proceed? Anybody? No questions? Okay, let's get started with our demo session.
I have a question.
Yes, please. Yes.
Manoj, this is Manoj.
Yes, Manoj.
Just wanted to know, like, because MIB will be like equipped for taking SAP certification after completing this one, or I have to take some other course?
Okay. To be very honest, I am myself not certified and I don't know what to do for Fiori certification. I do not know. And also I have not gone through any certification till date, neither in ABAP nor in Oops ABAP nor WebDin Pro, Java, FPM, nothing. But it's my challenge. You get a certification guy in front of me. Let him take my interview, and then after I will take his interview. Let's see.
No, I'm not questioning that. I'm just questioning because in my area where I'm working, certification is necessary.
Okay.
Because I take government projects, and for government projects, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, it is mandatory requirement to have a certification.
I completely agree, but for that you're gonna get the dumps on the internet easily, and with the certification dumps, the certification gets cleared easily. Believe me, I do take a lot of interviews, and in those interviews I do get a lot of candidates with very good certifications, but I don't even bother whether they are certified or not. If they can,
that's true.
They can work for me, they can give me the results. I don't even mind taking non-certified guys over certified guys. And believe me, when I see certification into the resume, my expectations will be skyrocketing high from that candidate, because then I will ask more complicated questions to him.
I understand.
Because I expect, he's certified and he should then answer more advanced questions than a normal guy, right? So it actually is somehow, I don't know, it's a myth, but somehow it increases a hurdle for you if you putting certification. But yes, I completely agree. On the other hand, for government projects, it's quite important because they don't care about whether because they don't know how to take interview also. Sometimes
that's
they just
true.
see, okay, certified hai, chalo le lete hai, he will somehow kuch to kiya hoga, something he might have done. So that is
नहीं,
the,
वो एक्चुअली होता क्या है कि टू कट द क्राउड बेसिकली वो बोलते
yes,
हैं कि भैया जिसके पास सर्टिफिकेशन है वो पहले आ जाओ,
yeah, yeah.
देन वी विल टॉक,
Yeah,
लाइक,
yeah, that's
सो
okay. So
दैट इज अ
uske liye
प्रॉब्लम.
you will have the dumps. I think there are a lot of good websites where you'll find dumps on
ओके.
almost everything, believe me. And you can download those dumps and they will give complete good information. And if you have the knowledge, it makes quite easy for you to understand it. Yeah, quite easy for you.
ओके.
Yeah.
And another question about the home assignment. How often do you give a home assignment? Because the reason I'm asking is because you this course is a weekday course, and weekday we are most, I don't know, at least I'm working. Most of us are also working,
Mhm.
and the job is like 9 to 5, and how are we going to deal with the home assignment on the daily basis if it is
I
given?
don't expect
Just
you to
wanted to know.
complete, yeah, I don't expect anybody to complete any assignment. What I typically do is I just give the session and I expect you to try out the session yourself. So you listen to the session and then try out yourself. That's it. I don't have, any hard commitments on assignments. If it is your interest, you will ask me, Anubhav, give me some assignment. I'll give you 100 assignments. There's no problem into it. I'll give you a complete real-time project to build also if you want. So, but
Yeah, no,
I,
I will
uh-huh.
go for that eventually.
Uh-huh. No problem. But in that case, it's your choice. I mean, you ask me, Anubhav, give me some exercise, I'll give you. If you don't ask me, I think whatever is covered in 1 hour of session, that is more than enough if you can practice that much. Yeah.
Okay,
That is
cool.
more than enough. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just follow it, and I guarantee you, you are going to enjoy this. And if uh, you look at the content wise, it covers everything from scratch. So you don't need to know any prerequisite at all. Okay, great. So about the schedule of the course, we will be starting from this coming Monday, March 20th, 2017, which is morning 7 to 8 o'clock India time. That's going to be our time for weekday sessions. Our class is going to end by Friday, 19th of May, 2017. It's approximately 2 months of batch. So if you feel now, oh my God, this is 2 months of time and I'm going to cover this whole course. So what about I have an urgent need in my project? It's burning right now. So what you can really do is take video-based courses, and then in that video-based course, you can go with your own pace and own speed. So that is what you can really do it. But yeah, if you want to go with the live course, I cannot flood you with all the concepts in one day. It is not going to work out. Things will take time to understand. When I learned Fiori, it took me 4 months to learn Fiori. And then there were a lot of new things were coming. Fiori is still enhancing. There are new versions coming every day on SAP UI5, and there are a lot of new concepts which are coming. So when we started, we used to use event bus concept for the navigation, and then later on SAP have introduced in library 1.28 the router concept for navigation, and now router is the only concept which is used for navigation in Fiori apps. So things are also changing and you're getting new concepts, new topics always. And then it is also important to spend some time on these things to understand them properly. Because once you understand properly, once you give time to it, you become an expert end to end. Yeah. Then it's going to be daily 7 to 8 o'clock morning IST time. So I don't know what will be the time zone. So the same time when we are having today this demo class, it's going to be the same time over the weekdays we will be completing this course. So let's get started with the development of our first demo Fiori app. So what I've already done is I have set it up the Eclipse environment in my computer. So a lot of people come to me, Anubhav, don't you use WebIDE? I will show you WebIDE in my next course, but I think if you understand Eclipse, more or less the code remains same. So either you develop in WebIDE or you develop in Eclipse, your code is not going to change. If you're going to write SAP UI, sap.ui.get core, it is going to work same way in Eclipse and same way in WebIDE. It's just that, WebID is another integrated development environment tool where you can develop something. So you can look at my demo video on WebIDE and you can also get started with WebIDE. I don't mind. If you have any questions there, you can ask me. Yeah. Or you can take the next course for WebIDE, which is completely on WebIDE itself. Yeah. But we will be using Eclipse in this course. Another question which I frequently get is, which type of view are you going to use? So some of the people already have some idea about Fiori, so they do ask these kind of questions. So maybe these questions may not be relevant for you if you are quite new, but some people ask me, do you use XML views or are you going to use JavaScript views? So believe me guys, SAP is following XML views. They are preferred views for SAP based apps. And for XML views, there is a very good documentation available on internet, which I will take you through and I will make you understand. But the JavaScript view, if you look at, there is very few, very few documentation available on internet. So if you are stuck into a project where they use JavaScript view, you're gone. Hence, we will go and take complicated path, more complex path, which is the JavaScript views. At the same time, I will cover all four type of views to make you understand, in case if you get into a project where you have XML views, then you can also manage that as well. But important aspect is we're going to use the concepts. There are a lot of concepts like binding, aggregation binding, property binding, element binding, navigation. All these concepts, formatters, fragments, all these concepts are remain same whether you go with XML view or you are going with the JavaScript view. Only the writing makes a difference, but JavaScript view are more complex than XML views. Why? Reason one is you don't have too much of documentation on JavaScript view available on internet. So hence we are going to take the complex part, but at the same time, I'm also going to cover XML views into this course so that you will get hands-hold on XML view as well. There's one question in the chat box. How long WebID is going to be? So WebID, I'm going to take the last chapter on WebID to show you the introduction of WebID and showing you how you can really use WebID. But underlying concept remains same in WebID or you use Eclipse. So if you see here a Fiori-like app, what I built. So here you see fragments, IETN, utilities, formatters, views, controller, all the controllers, component JS, index HTML, manifest.json, all these files also remain same in WebIDE. You copy this code to WebIDE and paste it there and you run it, it is going to behave absolutely same. There is no difference. So how does it make a difference? The difference which is made is mainly WebID is more towards Fiori based development. Now believe me, some companies do hand-to-hand Fiori development plus Java development for OData. So what happens is you typically use Maven. In real-time project, I've seen they use Maven. Maven is a build tool which is capable of building the complete web archive file. So Maven is not supported by WebID, but it's supported by Eclipse. Eclipse also support variety of projects like JPA, JRE, J2EE projects, dynamic web project, static web project. So all these things is what Eclipse also support. So just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. So that's why we will take Eclipse. But yes, if you are interested to go a deep level lectures on WebIDE, you can take my next course, which is completely on WebIDE. Yeah. So that's small part. Anyways, I'm going to cover towards the end of the class, end of the course, how to utilize WebIDE to do same development in WebIDE. That we will cover into that. Okay. Now, Shivang has a question. I have gone through around 10 lectures, so I think you have taken already the video course. Can you give some home assignment so that I can test and strengthen my knowledge before I can proceed? Sure, Shivang. So what I will do is in this course, I will also plan at end of every class, I'll give you some short assignments. Yeah, and there will not be hard commitment on that. You want to cover, okay. You don't want to cover, okay, no problem. Okay, so we'll go with that.
Okay.
So how is your feedback? You have already gone through 10 lectures from the video course. What is your feedback? Are you really enjoying it? Is it really helpful?
Yes, actually, I'm very much enjoying it, and those are very comprehensive lectures. So my basics are pretty much, those have pretty much been covered, and I'm pretty much satisfied with the way of teaching you are offering and the content that you're offering. So I think I'm absolutely good with it.
Okay. So at the same time, to be very frank, some people might think he's my guy. So Shivang, if you can post your email ID, if you don't mind, people can get in touch with you and really can understand. They can talk to you. Uh, uh,
Sure,
give me
I can
this
do that.
favor so that they can really talk to you and get some faith that yes, it is going to help. Yes, it is helpful or not. Yeah. So this is the email ID Shivang has. So you guys can get in touch with Shivang if you have any questions. Completely honest feedback, Shivang, you share it. Don't share in this session, maybe share honest feedback about me, about the lectures,
I'll do
about the
that.
study material. Yeah. If you have
Yeah, yeah.
anything which I'm missing, improvement points, you can also email me, Shivang. I would
Okay,
love to cover that improvement point. So one improvement point you have shared,
sure.
that I should give some home assignments at the end of every lecture. I will incorporate this in the course. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so at same time you can't have both video course and the live class together. It's not possible. Either you go with video course where you completely run through videos, or you go with live course where you daily attend a live class, and then at the end of the class you get a video for that class, and then you anyways going to have an access for that video class. So at same time you can't have both the things in parallel going on, that you're taking videos at the same time you're also taking live training. That's not possible. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, go ahead. Let's get started. Sorry, guys. Too many questions around. I could not resist myself to answer them. But let's start now. We will create our first UI5 application. So what exactly SAP UI5 is? Let's start with very basic question. What is SAP UI5 and why SAP UI5 is useful and why these companies are now asking SAP UI5? What are the couple of advantages of using SAP UI5? So what is SAP UI5? SAP UI5 is a UI framework. So what is a framework? Framework is something which provides you APIs. It's a collection of APIs. API stands for Application Programming Interface, nothing but some classes. So you have classes and methods. That's what API means in a rudimentary term. So collection of APIs. So that's what SAP UI5 framework is, which is used to create great user experience. So that's what SAP UI5 framework is. It is collection of API. It's a framework which allows us to create great user experience. What's called great user experience is because the applications built in UI5 are capable and adaptable to run on all type of browsers, operating systems, and devices. So it is capable of running on all type of browsers, devices, and operating systems. So some of you might have seen those who have worked with WebDin Pro technology, because I spent around 7 years in WebDin Pro. WebDin Pro technology earlier doesn't used to support Chrome browser. Okay, so that was one major challenge because that's a very restricted framework. You also cannot do your own theming, your own branding with WebDin Pro. You can't really change the colors, the fonts, the size, all these things. You can't really change it. That's a restriction of WebDin Pro technology. It comes always with a standard look and feel. You can't change it. You can't customize it because it's not based on open standards. But SAP UI5 overcomes this, and it is based on open standards, which includes HTML5. HTML5, why I call it as HTML5? Because it's the latest version of HTML. HTML5 is just the latest version of HTML, version number 5, which was released in year 2014. Then you have CSS, cascading style sheet, JavaScript, very important. It's an open source technology used by most of the browser vendors and most of the internet companies. We go through these concepts in detail when we start our course from the scratch. HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. It's all based on this. So the underlying architecture or the underlying technologies on top of SAP UI5 was built is these open source, open standard technologies, which allows you great capability to make your applications run on multiple variety of platforms, variety of operating system and devices with a seamless user experience. So that's in a nutshell about SAP UI5. Now, as I mentioned, it's a collection of UI5. It's a framework. It's a collection of APIs. So what are all these APIs? So if you really look at inside the box of SAP UI5, what you have is basically the bottom layer, which is built by these open standards. So there are more open standards like Ajax, then Data.js, and there are a lot of CSS3. All these are D3. All these are libraries which builds the base for SAP UI5. So it's jQuery, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then CSS3, Ajax, D3. All these are other different libraries which data.js which are used by SAP UI5 to build the framework. Now on top of it, there's something called core libraries, SAP UI5 core libraries. These core library includes like sap.ui.core, sap.ui.model, sap.ui.mvc, sap.ui. So all these sap.ui.layout, these are all the core libraries which you typically use. And then you have control libraries. SAP UI5 control libraries. So control libraries I mean by is these are all the actual UI5 controls. Like if you're designing a user interface. To design a user interface or in a layman term a screen, you're designing a screen just like you do dialog programming or you do WebInfo view design or you do iView design in Portal. So you basically make use of these control libraries. So UI control libraries which are used to build the user interface. So basically these libraries will contain different UI controls like button, like text view, text field, input field, table. All these are all part of this SAP UI5 control libraries. So that's what the control libraries are. They are mainly used to design the controls. So now if you look at these control libraries, there are more variety of control libraries. Let me just put them over here. So there are a variety of control libraries. Now you can also use combination of these libraries, not just one library. You can also make use of the combination of these libraries. So like sap.ui.commons, this is one library, sap.ui.suite, SAP suite UI commons. Then you have sap.ui.table. You have sap.ui.layout. sap.m, my favorite, sap.m library, and then you have sap.ui.shell. So there are different variety of libraries over here. These are called control libraries. Now if you look at here, these control libraries, so basically what happens is the kind of application or the target audience you are targeting, based on that your selection of library should take place. So basically when you're designing the application, you need to make a selection, which library shall I use. So when you're deciding for a desktop based audience, so basically you will go with these kind of libraries. So any desktop devices. But when you're going with more like mobile based development, which we typically call it as Fiori user experience, you go with on the right hand side these maybe the blue color libraries. Yeah. So now based on the target audience, you are going to make selection of your libraries. Which library shall I use? So if you are going for desktop based applications, or you're going with the tablet based applications, so you have desktop, you have tablets, and then you have mobile device. So based on your target audience, you can decide which type of application you want to build. Now, typically, if you can design an application for mobile, it is anyways going to be supported by bigger screens, because mobile, if you have supported an application in mobile in a small screen where you have more restricted environment, it is automatically going to work for desktop and tablet. That's why sap.m library with SAP Fiori user experience, it has become more popular. Okay, that's why it has become more popular, because if you can develop it for mobile, it is going to work for tablet and desktop both. Yeah, so that is why it has become more popular, and over a period of time these libraries what you see here, they have been deprecated by SAP. So SAP says they are deprecated, we are not doing further developments in these libraries, make use of SAP M. But there are still some legacy uh, applications which are typically have these old libraries used. So you still have to understand these libraries. There are some legacy applications. Yeah. Now, what we will also see, so this is about the UI5 framework in terms of design time. This is design time, which means when you're designing the app, this is what you will use. But there is also a component in SAP UI5 framework. So the framework is built of lot of libraries, and then it's mainly categorized into two components. One is design time component, one is runtime component. So SAP UI5 runtime component also is available, which includes this is inside the framework, guys. Inside the framework, what is that we have? So it has also some called servlets. What is servlet? Servlet is a server-side program which is capable of redirecting your calls. So when we will go ahead in upcoming chapters in OData, we will talk about CORS, cross-origin resource sharing issues. So when you're developing, you will basically encounter the CORS issue where browser doesn't really make a call to another domain, it restricts it. So for that, you need to somehow make use of some server-side programs to just redirect your call. I will explain about proxy, CORS issue and solution for that. So that's what is part of this runtime component. Then we also have which this includes also there are other components like renderer. So what happens, guys? The basic fundamental thing is browsers only understand HTML. Browser don't understand Java. Browser don't understand ABAP, C++. It doesn't understand anything. Browser only understand HTML. So what browser can really show on the screen is an HTML. So there is a component in runtime component which converts whatever code you write into an HTML, equivalent HTML code. So we will talk about it in detail, but first of all, you need to understand HTML, CSS, all this stuff, which anyways will be covered when we start the course in detail. So these are all major components which are part of UI5 runtime. So we will discuss in the system where we can actually see these runtime and design time components and how we can really use them. So that's in a nutshell about the framework. So now in order to develop any SAP UI5 application, you may basically have to use these libraries. One of these libraries you have to use. Okay, but you need to also load these libraries in the browser. How you're running an application in the browser, how your browser know that what is SAP UI Commons? Your browser will not know what is SAP UI Commons. So you have to load this framework in the browser. And how do you load this? You load using something called script tag. So we use something called script tag in our HTML file. I will explain about the script tag in detail. So using this tag will be used to load the framework in the browser. Yeah. So this will be used to load the framework. But now we need to also tell this script tag what to load. Yeah. We have to first tell from where to load, from where you want to load and what to load. Yeah. This is what is we need to tell. Okay. So where to load, we have to give the path of the installation where framework is installed. That's what we need to do. We have to give the path of the installation where framework is installed. We have to also tell the library which we need to load. So as I showed you, there are multiple libraries. So you have to also tell the system which library you want to load, or you want to load multiple libraries. So I would say library or libraries, which library or which libraries you want to load. That's what you need to tell. So all three combiningly called as bootstrap. All three of these combiningly known as bootstrap. So bootstrap is nothing but it's a mechanism to load SAP UI5 framework into the browser. That's what called bootstrap. And why it's called bootstrap? Because it's a strap of code which is used at the time of loading. Booting means loading. So when you're loading something during that time, how it is going to load the UI5 framework into the browser so that it can recognize what we are writing in is called bootstrap. So this is what we will be using as our starting point when we develop a SAP Fiori app or UI5 app, bootstrap. So now when we understand bootstrap, let's understand the syntax to create control. Okay, syntax to create the control. So what is the syntax to create the control? So syntax to create the control is basically you're going to create a variable. So to create a variable, the syntax is var. Just like in C programming, we use int I. Int I means I want to create a variable with the name I of type integer. Similarly here, we are using JavaScript coding. So you'll get into the depth of JavaScript over a period of time when we start our course. But right now, just to understand, we're creating a variable, and this variable is of type an object. Okay, so you start with O. So along with the course, I'm not just going to cover the course, but I'll discuss about standards and the best practices which you all have to use, because there is one process as part of development called code review. Now, if you have developed something by just following somebody or taking some code from internet, you may not know whether it is compliant to be used in your company. So you need to also make sure that you follow right standards and right practices. If you do not follow that, your code gets rejected. All your effort is actually wasted because it did not really signed off. You have to rework everything. So that's the important part. We have to also focus on the standards and the important aspects of it. So O stands for object. Just like in ABAP programming, if you use ls underscore mara, which means local structure, that's a naming convention we follow in ABAP. LT stands for local internal table. Yeah, LO stands for local object. That's a naming convention in ABAP. Similarly, in JavaScript, if you want to create an object variable, you start with O, and then you can say Spiderman, that's my name of the variable, equals to new keyword. New is again a keyword. So var is a keyword to declare a variable. Var is a keyword to create a variable, and new is also a keyword. I'm creating a new object, and then you have to give the name of the library name. Dot control name. What is the control you're using? And then you have two components inside, SID and properties. So every control which you want to use should have to have a control name. Let's say button. Button is a control name. It is part of which library? SAP UI Commons. So I showed you the library names. So this is one library. This library includes a lot of controls like button, switch, text view, radio button, check boxes, drop down, push to pull, different types of variety of controls. It is part of it. So we are going to use this control in the library name. SID stands for the unique ID of the control. It includes unique ID of control. So through which you can later on recognize this control in the code. That's the unique ID of the control. And then you have properties for that control. What are all the properties, like if you are creating a button? So what will be the label for the button? What will be the color for the button? What will be the width and height? All these properties comes under properties section. Okay, so if the properties is what you should always provide in curly braces. Okay, just to recall the mathematics, we have something called parenthesis, we have curly braces, and we have brackets. Okay, so what is parenthesis? This is parenthesis. What is curly braces? This is curly braces. What is brackets? This is brackets. Okay, these symbols makes a big difference, especially in JavaScript code. Okay, we will discuss about this. We call it as funda foxes. So when you go ahead with the course, you'll understand it's my own terminology called funda fox, which means something which is very important, and if you remember, it is really making a life simple. So that's called funda fox. So this is one of the funda fox. So always provide in curly braces the properties. Okay, and the syntax is going to be curly braces, property name, colon, property value, then semicolon, next property. One control can have multiple properties, so you're going to give all these properties like this, value. Okay, so curly braces, value, curly braces, value, like that you have to give. Great. So we understood about the syntax, we understood about the bootstrap. Let's get started with our first application, a very simple app, a kind of a button, and on click of a button something should happen. Okay, now why there is one question here from Shailaja, why you are using the keyword new? So new keyword means I'm creating a new object. Okay, in ABAP programming language, what you typically do is you declare the object using data, lo, obj, type, ref to your class name. Yeah, this is your class name. And then what you write? You write create object, lo underscore obj, which is going to allocate the memory for this object, right? So why are you writing create object? To create, allocate the memory for the object. Similarly here, when you're using new keyword, you're basically allocating the memory into the browser for this control, so that it can hold the control object. So control object name is Spider-Man here. What you can use whatever whatever name you like, okay, that you can use. So similarly here also, you are actually declaring var is the declaration, and this is creation. You're creating the object. You're creating a new object of your control. That's what you're doing. Okay, and now all of this is packaged inside an HTML. So this bootstrap and this code is packaged inside an HTML. And in HTML, the basic rule for HTML, guys, whenever you writing an HTML, this is very basic rule. In HTML file includes two parts. One is called header and second is called body. So user can only see the content on the screen or on your browser page when it's part of body. If you have not put a control or something inside the body, user cannot see that. Your end user, your user who is using your app cannot see that. So you have to place the control which you creating, this control what you created, but you did not place it yet into the body. So you got to place it into the body. So to placing into the body, there's a function called place at, which you have to use. Now, going forward, I will also explain you how did I know this function. See, I did not know when I was working 4 years back in a BAP. I did not know there is a function in UI5 called place at to place the control in the body. I did not know. How did I know? So that's what you need to learn in this course. You need to also learn the technique to build it right, to self understand what is a control, how the libraries are built, how they are used, so that you can yourself explore things. You don't need to rely on any trainer. See, my job is completed when you become self-dependent. After completing course also, if you're relying on me, I did not do a good job. Okay, so my intention is to make you self-dependent. That's why I will show you the techniques to build things, and that's why other trainers don't do. They just do copy paste. When they copy paste, they know they are not teaching concepts. They're just showing output and going through the code. With that, you will understand zero concept. So they want you to go back to them again and again and spend money behind them. That's what they do. Don't get into such hawks. So just understand the concept in depth by detailing it and writing every single line of code. Golden rule for this course. No copy paste. If you are looking for copy paste of code, you're a fan of it, do not join my course. Clearly no. I will not entertain if any one of you is copy pasting the code into the Eclipse or Web IDE to create your app. I expect each one of you to write every single line of code yourself and understand the meaning of that line of code. What happens if I remove this? What happens? You have to do this. This is the golden rule to make understand everything. Never ever copy paste the code until you understand. And after you understand, do copy paste to speed up your development, because then you will not be able to match your timelines. But until you understand, do not copy paste the code. Very, very strict I am into it. Do not copy paste, because when I started my learning, I wasted 6 months behind trainers who used to teach me copy paste. I used to go for any courses with lot of anticipations and expectations कि ये तो बहुत कुछ सिखा देगा. But when I got into it, I saw they are just fooling. They are just fooling. They have ready-made code, उसको copy कर दिया, paste कर दिया, run कर दिया. Okay, training is over. I literally understood zero, and I wasted lot of my money, lot of my time. And at the end, every time I used to think, oh my God, what bullshit I've gone through. I wasted my money, I wasted my time. Don't do that, guys. Don't repeat those mistakes. Whatever mistakes I repeated, I will not let you repeat those mistakes. I will take you always on the right path. It's your choice whether you follow or not. Okay, so with that, let's start. So we understood what is HTML. It includes a body and a header. So body is what will be visible to customers, the users, and then you have a bootstrap, and then you have a code which will develop the control. So I go back to Eclipse. I will show you in our first class how to set up this Eclipse, how to set up JDK, how to set up UI5 library into it. That's what I will show you. And also I'm planning to this time in this course show you the setup for Web IDE as well. So some of you would like to use Web IDE from scratch. So I will show you setup for Web IDE also in my first class in this course. Yeah. So let's start. We'll start with Eclipse. So here you got to come and you got to create a new project. So right click, say new project. Believe me guys, I don't know, some of you may not believe me. I don't use Web IDE for development. Wherever I go for any consulting assignment or development assignment, I don't use Web IDE. I use Eclipse. It's very
And
rich
Anubhav, why do you prefer Eclipse over Web IDE?
because it has a lot of support for variety of projects. Because it has support for Maven projects, Java projects, J2EE, HTML, static, dynamic, very good integration with Git repository. All these are all the advantage. What I prefer. I'm more used to it, believe me. I'm more used to it. That's it. There is no hard and fast rule because I heard and I experienced also if you are starting from scratch, maybe you can start with Web IDE because that's more close to specific development on UI5. But I'm using Web IDE since many years and sorry Eclipse since many years and I'm very close to it. I enjoy working with Eclipse. I enjoy working with its perspectives, the way it is built. I'm more comfortable with this development environment. That's why I prefer Eclipse. Okay, that's again person to person choice. Okay, you may not prefer it. You maybe would like to go with Web IDE because your company is pushing you towards Web IDE. Yes, but
Thing.
one more important point. If you are going with the extensibility scenario where you want to enhance a standard SAP Fiori app, in that case, go with Web IDE, guys. And that's why my next course exactly talks about Web IDE alone, because there I've covered complete extensibility scenario, how to enhance a standard Fiori apps in a company. Yeah. So there you should use Web IDE because there you have
Thanks.
extensibility pane concept, which helps you to ease the extensibility concept. You can easily extend standard SAP Fiori apps. It has a great support for that. Good. So let's come back, create an application project, say next. And now you can see guys, I can give a project name. So say my March demo. And I will talk about the workspace. I will talk about the storage of this project. Where does it get stored when we will see Eclipse installation? Right now at this point, let's select the library name. So you select SAP UI Commons library. You can see there are two options, M or Commons. We use Commons. And now you can see you have initial view, create initial view. This checkbox is defaultly checked. Right now, we did not talk about MVC architecture. Hence, I uncheck this particular option. So I don't want to create a model view controller approach right now. So I just unchecked it and say finish. So it's going to create a new project for me. And in that project, I just get an index.html file. This is the file which is going to get started when you run the project. Okay. Now look at this file. This is divided into two parts. One is header and the body of HTML, as I mentioned. User will only see when you have something in the body. So in the body right now you have a div tag. Div tag is just a hidden tag. It doesn't bring something on the screen, but basically it's mainly used to construct a block. Okay, we will discuss about div tag, span tag, all the different tags in HTML in detail in our HTML chapter. Right now understand it's just a empty tag without any content into it, and it has an ID called content. You can change this ID if you want. Now in the header part, if you see, it has a meta tag. We'll talk about meta tag in detail in next chapter. But now other things which you really look at, it has two script tags. The first script tag is nothing but your bootstrap, which I was talking about. You need a script tag to create a bootstrap. And you see, if we discussed from where it should load and what to load, that's what exactly it answers. So from where it's loading, this is SRC property, the source from where it should load. It's loading from resources of Eclipse. and the name of the file which is loading is SAP UI core. Now if you come here JavaScript resources, you can see SAP UI5 core. Yeah, this is the library it is actually loading in the resources from Eclipse. This is the source from where it's loading. Now what's the ID of this control or this loading indicator? It's basically SAP UI Bootstrap. You can change this also, no problem. Now, which library it is loading? See, SAP UI Commons. I told you from where to load and what to load. It's going to load this library from this framework. It's not going to load all the libraries. Otherwise, your browser performance will go bad. Hence, we can mention which libraries we want to load. There are combination of libraries which are supported. We will discuss about that in UI5 chapter. There's also another parameter here called theme parameter. This theme parameter is also very important to give a complete look and feel to your app. So there are different themes like high contrast, uh, gold reflection. These are all the different themes provided by SAP. We can make use of them to just change the look and feel of our application. So that's the theme parameter it has. That's your bootstrap, which is loading of SAP UI5. Now, whatever code you got to write has to be inside the below script and script tag. So let's write our first button code. Var Spider-Man, that's my name of the control, equals to new SAP UI Commons. That's my library name. Dot. Now you have to write the control name. Okay. So Eclipse is also in a way helps you really find out the properties and the different variety of controls available. So you can see it shows me automatically all the list of controls which are available in this library. Yeah. These are all the different controls this library has. Very rich library. And now it has a button control. You can see here this button control. Double click on this and it automatically generates the code for you with ID and the settings. Okay. Now in this, I am just going to enter the ID of the button. So ID BTN. This is a unique ID I'm entering for the control. And now in the settings, we can put curly braces and all the settings. Now, you may wonder, Anubhav, how do you know that what are all the settings this control has? I will show you. There is something called SAP UI5 SDK. That SDK gives you very good documentation about every single control. You can really make use of it. It's really nice. I will show you the technique. How do I know if somebody give me, hey, build this control. How do I know what are all the properties that control has? I can use SDK. And that's the technique you should learn in this course. So right now, you can also see if I just come here and just use this button control, focus on the button control, just mouse hover on this button control, you can see it's the library name. Or what you can also do is just do control space. Okay, sorry, just do B, capital B, and do control space. Okay, it's taking all the control. Just do control space and select the button control. See, select the button control. On the left in Eclipse, you can see the properties of this control. This is another way to check the properties. So it has a text property to give the label for the button, width property to control width, whether button is enabled, visible, icon for the button, all these properties are there. Then you also have something called events. Events is something in action. So whenever somebody click on the button, what should happen? This is the event. Press event will trigger. And then you can write a function at front of that. That function code will be executed just like you do in WebDinfo or Delog programming. In Delog programming, you basically use PAI. So whenever somebody click on something, PAI gets triggered, and then you check OK code value, and according to that, you will process your logic. But here, per button, per action, you have an event. For every action, you have an event. Now for that event, you can write dedicated function for that event. Okay, we will understand that more in detail in terms of MVC when we will reach to MVC chapter. Okay, so now just generate this code again and just give some ID. So say ID Anubhav, whatever you like, and then you can give the settings over here, curly braces, and you can now give the property names. So I say text property for the button, and I say Spider-Man. That's the label for my button. So I created the button. Now let's run the application and see if this button is visible on the screen. Let's see. So I right click on the project, run as web app preview. Okay, web app preview. Click on this. It is automatically going to launch the preview for the app, and you can see it has opened it here. You can copy this URL now and also launch this URL in your browser. So you come to the browser and you see it's empty. Right now there's nothing loading. So can anybody guess why this button is not displayed on the screen? Why this button is not visible on the screen? We just now discussed about it. Why the button is not displayed on the screen? Why it is not displayed on the screen? What is the reason? Why the button is not displayed on the screen? What is the reason?
It should be
Place
Is
set
at
not
body.
mentioned in.
We have not put it in the body yet. Yes,
Body.
this button is still in the header script tag. We have not placed it in the body yet. So let's use this control now. This control, it's an object now. You can use this object to call its methods. So dot place at. Now, one important funda fox, JavaScript is case sensitive, unlike ABAP. ABAP may, if you write some logic, it is not case sensitive, but JavaScript is case sensitive. So if you see here, place at, the first letter is small and next consecutive words, first letter is capital. So place at is made up of two words. First word is place, second word is at. So first word, first letter has to be small, P is small. Next words, first letter has to be capital. At A is capital. It's case sensitive. If I just put place at A is small, it's not going to work. So let me just say place at, place this control in this content. So just provide the ID of this content, div tag ID, and save this. And let's come back and refresh. You'll still not see the button on the screen. Why? Because the JavaScript methods are case sensitive. We will discuss about this in detail, the naming convention, the funda foxes, all of that will cover over a period of time. So right now, just change it back to A as capital, save this. These are the teeny mistakes which everybody does, even I do. Okay, when I take your training, you will yourself realize that even I do mistakes. I'm not perfect. So you will yourself find out this mistake. Anubhav, you've done that mistake there. Please correct it. So that's how you will also start finding it out. Yeah. So I correct it now, come back and refresh the page. And wow, there you go. Your Spider-Man button is now available over there. So I click on this, nothing is happening. Of course, because we have not written any logic for the event. Yeah, we have not yet written any logic for the event yet. So let's write a logic for event. So I'm just going to give the event name, press, and I'm just going to write a function because that's my logic, or my all logic goes inside a function. So I just enter a function, and in this I can write my logic, whatever I want to do. So if I want to display a pop-up with some content into it, I can use alert function. There's a function in JavaScript called alert function. I can use that. I will teach all of these things to you when we will go to JavaScript chapter. So you don't need to worry about it right now. So alert function is to display a pop-up in JavaScript. So I can use alert and say, wow, my first app works. Save this, come back, refresh the page. And now let's click on the button. So I click on the button and wow, there you go. It displays me a pop-up saying that my first app works. So that's how I can create a small application. But again, we did not follow here any standard. MVC is the standard architecture which we should follow. So all our rendering logic, your screen logic, control logic should go inside the views, and all your processing logic should go inside the controller. We will talk about it in detail going forward in upcoming chapters. We will talk about first the fundamentals of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and then we will come to MVC and different types of model views and controller in detail. Now, that's it from the demo side. I just wanted to show very small demo, wanted to keep it precise and straightforward. If you are interested to look at more demo sessions, please go ahead to the training blog access, trial training blog access. There you'll see some more videos. You can also go and subscribe to my YouTube video channel. So you can just go to YouTube and you can just search for Fiori training, and then you can just find out my tutorials. So you can see online Ui5 Fiori training tutorials. Here it is. Just click on my name and then you'll be able to find my channel over there. You can see a lot of tutorials, free videos are available here for you to go through. Yeah. So I can easily go through it. I've been working in this industry since last 16 plus years. Mainly my main core area was ABAP, object-oriented ABAP, WebDynpro, floor plan manager, BRF plus, .NET, core Java, little bit of J2EE, and then SAP UI5, Fiori, OData, Gateway, all these things I have studied in last 4 years. Quite new topics. You still not miss the bus, but yes, you got to catch the bus before you really miss it. On that note, it's a wrap on today's session. Any questions? Last 5 minutes, I'll over to you for questions before we close.
Hello, Anubhav.
Okay,
This is
one.
Sunil.
Okay,
Oh
one
yeah,
by
go
one.
ahead, Sony.
Hello,
Yeah, Sunil.
hello, Anubhav. Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I'm basically from the ABAP background.
Okay.
I don't know, even a bit of JavaScript or HTML or CSS. So, but I have gone through some of the, the Google documents.
Mm-hmm.
But I have gone through some Google documents of the JavaScript or HTML, but I'm not getting the difference between the HTML and JavaScript. So can
Okay.
you elaborate somewhat? Can you elaborate somewhat about that? Because but I heard that HTML is used for the web page design.
Yes.
But the button, does it come under JavaScript or the HTML?
Okay. So there are two parts. One is design time and one is run time. Let's categorize that. So what is design time? How are you going to design? What is that you want to place on the screen? So if you are going to place a button on the screen, that is what HTML will do. Okay. What you want to show to the user is what HTML does. So if you want to show a button to the screen, you got to use HTML to put a button tag and display a button on the screen. But what should happen when user click on the button? That is what will be handled by JavaScript. Okay, that's a programming language. In very simple terms, JavaScript is a programming language. HTML is not a programming language. It's a markup. That's what the
But
name
in
is also.
but in HTML,
Mhm.
yeah, no, sorry for the interruption,
Mhm.
Anubhav. But in the HTML, I couldn't see the button tag over there.
I will show you the button tag. I will show you, and let's
Button
see
tag.
it right away.
Uh,
So this is an HTML. You can see this is the body of HTML. Let me create a button tag. So this is what my duty is. I will be covering all of
okay.
this. You are my category of person. I was also like you 5 years back. Absolutely a core ABAPer, and whenever a word Java comes, I'm very afraid. कि नहीं यार Java तो नहीं होगा. No. So no to Java. No. Java
Me
is very
too.
tough.
ABAP is like Java is the hard चढ़ता है.
Yes. So it's not Java, guys. It's JavaScript. Java and JavaScripts are completely different languages. Their purpose is different. Their design is different. Their uses are different. So don't be afraid that you have to learn anything related to Java in this course. Not at all required. And believe me, college students, one of my students have got it into JNPACT 2 weeks back. He has attended my course from scratch. He was college pass out from MIT University. I will give his contact number if you want. You can call him, you can check him up, and he has attended the interview. An interviewer mentioned that he has got 5 out of 5, and interviewer were like shocked. How can a fresher coming out of college can have this much of knowledge on SAP Fiori and UI5? And he mentioned my name in the interview, and interviewer looked at the videos also for mine. So this is the button tag we are talking about. Let's say click me, save this. Let's come back and refresh the page, and you'll see the button over here. There you go. You can see the button, right? That's your button. It's a dummy button. That's what you do with HTML. What is that you want to show on the screen is controlled by HTML. But what should happen when you click on it? That will be controlled by JavaScript. Okay. That will be controlled by JavaScript. Let me show you a small sample. Maybe right now you may not understand that, but let me just show it to you. What should happen when you click on the button? It will be controlled by JavaScript. That's the JavaScript. Same thing I'm writing, alert function. Okay, same alert function I'm writing. Wow, this is JS code. Let's come back, refresh, and now when I click, it's gonna get you this. Wow, this is JS code. So that's the JavaScript. JavaScript controls the behavior, the logic, what should be executed, and HTML controls the rendering only. JavaScript is the programming language. HTML is a markup language. We will understand all of this in depth when we will go to the course. In the first unit, I will anyways cover about it. And if you have any doubt, you can ask, you can just ask Pritish, I think, just now, some time back, we were discussing, right? So you can ask him. He has already
Thank you,
gone
Anbu.
through. Yes.
Okay, Anubhav, one quick question.
Yes, Manoj.
Because before talking to you, I was looking for some kind of tutorial on the Google,
Mhm.
and they were saying that there was many tutorials saying that develop UI5 application, develop Fiori like application in UI5. What does this mean?
I didn't get you.
Okay, there were many tutorials saying develop SAP UI5 application
Mhm.
Fiori like.
Fiori like app, perfect. What is a Fiori like app? See, when we will start with the development, we'll simply follow MVC architecture. But if you use that, your app will be built end to end, no problem. I'll show you one app which we have built in my course for Fiori. So if you see here, Fiori demo map, or maybe Fiori app, here you see, this is what I'll run. You will see this app absolutely like a Fiori app. This is what we built in the course, one of the previous batch, a very small Fiori app. But if you take and deploy this app to your server and try to integrate this app with Fiori Launchpad. What is Fiori Launchpad now? Fiori Launchpad is a single access point for all the business users to access your application. That's what Fiori Launchpad is. Now, if you want to integrate this app with SAP Fiori Launchpad, it will not work. You see, it is looking like a Fiori app, right? So you see, it has this thing. This is what we have built during the course. So, but this will not work with Launchpad. You can't start this app with the Launchpad. You can't start this app with the Launchpad
Okay.
actually. You can't do that.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. Why? Because it's not a Fiori-like app. Fiori-like app means you need to have an app which follows all the standards defined by SAP. This is a Fiori-like app.
Fiori.
This has component JS. This is the main artifact which you need to have in your app. If you deploy this app with WebID also or HANA Cloud Platform, it will say cannot integrate with Launchpad because component JS is missing. So Fiori-like app
Okay.
means the app which has this and a manifest.json. Two important files which we will talk about it. So if you look at this app which I just showed you, run executed you, it doesn't have component JS, which means you can't integrate this with SAP Fiori Launchpad. It's not a Fiori like app.
Oh, okay.
But the another one
But
is
you
a
are
Fiori
saying it
like app.
is, but here you are saying Fiori app though in that folder
That's
name.
just the name of the app,
Okay.
name of the project.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
This
this app will not integrate with
yes,
the.
Launchpad. It will give you an error when you try to integrate with Fiori Launchpad. Though it's when you
Oh,
run this, it absolutely looks like Fiori app. This is what we will build, guys. This is absolutely same thing I will show you building step by step, line by line, understanding every single line of code. Zero copy paste in my code. Zero copy paste. Zero copy paste. I am strictly saying no to any copy paste. If you are thinking I will do copy paste, don't join my course. I will go slow. I will go step by step, writing every single line of code, whatever time it takes. No copy paste in my training. Completely no.
Anubhav, the separate advanced web ID course. When do you start, and how long is the duration of the course?
That course I just finished last weekend, and I do not have any considerable amount of candidates to join that course right now. I need minimum 5 people to start a batch. So typically this course is what, it's always full. So whenever I finish a batch, I get many people in this course, the first course, because this is what is a need for everyone, bare minimum. But for the advanced courses, if I get 5 people, I do start a batch, and I don't know when I'm going to get 5 people.
I'm one of them.
So, but I think you should not, Manoj. You should first learn this. Here
No,
itself,
no, no. After completing this.
yes. So first, let's
Same with me.
Yeah, but
After
still,
completing this, I
I
will
do
take
have
another one.
I do have videos for the next course, so you can go with video-based learning. If at all we don't get considerable amount of candidates, you can go with video-based learning for the second course.
Okay. And is there any, what is the course fee, and is there any difference if we take live courses or
There is no difference in
versus
video
video course?
course or live course in terms of course fee. The course fee, you can email me if you are interested. I will get back to you with the course fee and bank details, because I can't share my bank details here into the group. Hence, you can get back to me. If you are into US, you can send me details. I will send you my US account details for Wells Fargo.
Okay.
So if you are in India, I'll send you my Indian account details. Or if you're in US, you can transfer directly to the US account.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
So Anubhav, Arup here, are you going to cover the integration of Fiori with SAP, ECC or CRM?
What do you mean by integration? Can you please elaborate? What do you call integration?
Means how do you extend these Fiori apps into say,
That's
SAP
called
hybrids?
extensibility
Yeah.
concept. That's called extensibility
Okay.
concept, which is covered in the next course. So if I just go back to again this, before really going into integration, we must understand the core concepts. Then only we can
Okay.
understand integration. Without learning alphabets, we can't learn words. That's
Yeah, I
why
agree.
step by step. So this is prerequisite. Anything or everything you want to go ahead, this is the bare minimum. You must know. Without this, there is no meaning. And then here is where I will cover enhancements. Standard Fiori apps, how to enhance. Watch this video. It's a very
Okay.
good video. Watch this free video on my website. It's very good video.
So
It's a very
Anubhav,
good
this
video.
advanced web ID course, and what is the duration of that course? Like
This
the
is
current
again,
course you said
this one
40
is 30
hours,
hours. Second one is 30 hours.
33. Okay.
I will put it today here. You can see the course content also. Download this course content and check it.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool.
And Anubhav, what is the just quick question? What is the difference between UI, SAP UI5 and Fiori?
Okay. SAP UI5 is the framework name. The framework,
Yeah.
it's registered with this name. When it has came into the market, it was earlier known as Phoenix, SAP Phoenix UI. Then
Yeah,
later
yeah.
point of time, they've changed the name to SAP UI5. Now, a lot of people are also confused between HTML5 and UI5. There are
Yeah.
people like Devendra Nayak who are giving the YouTube videos on training, very good training they are offering on UI5. They don't even know difference between UI5 and Fiori, UI5 and HTML5. So you
Yeah,
will see a
Devendra,
lot
like
of
yeah, I seen his
yeah.
video.
So he don't know difference between HTML5 and UI5. And if you ask him what is router, he don't know. And he's charging $400 for the training and $300 for HTML training. So total $700 is charging for HTML and HTML training plus UI5 training, and that too is not covering Fiori into it. Plus he's not covering Google Map integration, custom controls, component JS router, route match handler, manifest JSON, OData integration. For OData, he's getting another trainer from Hyderabad, Chirag. He's taking the OData training, another training. And that trainer is putting a notebook, a textbook at front of himself, and he's just iterating what is written in the notebook. If you want, I'll share with you one sample demo. You will see the quality of it. The first demo you will like it. Okay, he's very good in first demo. After that you go inside the training, you will see the quality. You will see, अरे यार क्या कर दिया, पैसा waste कर दिया.
So yeah, so can you please tell me the difference? What is the difference between SAP UI5 and Fiori?
Fiori is about user experience. So user
Oh,
experience
okay.
is about how do your user perceive the app, perceive the experience. Does he has the same current experience across the devices, across the browsers and across the platforms? Does this app is a responsive app? Why Amazon have a website, Amazon.in, and a separate app in the web store? Why? Because they don't have a technology which can give a current user experience. If you run the Amazon website or an ICC bank website in your mobile device, you will not have that good experience.
Yeah.
You have to separately go and install the app for every company these days. But if you go with Fiori, you have to develop it only once. It works coherently and adapt automatically based on the device you're running. So one single code line for Android, iOS, Windows, mobile, tablets, desktops, Chrome,
So
Safari,
basically,
Firefox, one single code
so
base.
so basically, Fiori is an environment, your user experience environment you are creating using SAP UI5.
SAP Ui5 framework, yes, using SAP.m library. And there are certain guidelines like there are different variety of application like this. The one which I showed you was master detail application. So on the left, you see a list control. On the right, you see a detail section. But when you go into mobile device, it automatically adapts itself. Okay, and now in order to experience this Fiori user experience, there is a very good website called sapfioritrial.com where you can
Yeah,
go and
I saw that.
really experience the SAP Fiori user experience. But before that, you need to understand the difference between user interface and user experience. You cannot
Yeah.
change you cannot change the user experience. You can only change the user interface as a developer. But you can achieve the user experience by designing a good user interface. So this is the free
Okay.
website. You can really go and check out some SAP Fiori. I'm going to give you some idea about it before we start the Fiori unit. But still, that's a long way to go. If you really see, Fiori comes as third phase of our training. Still, you got to overcome these first two phases,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
Okay,
50% of
that's
your course. And that's where we are lagging. If you go and talk in, let's say, one of the person have come to me. He was a project manager for Fiori project, and he mentioned, Anubhav, it feels so bad and so humiliation when I go and attend daily team meetings. Developers are talking with each other and they are talking in their own terms, HTML, CSS, ऐसा कर देंगे, MVC, this view, this controller, and I'm like a silent listener. I can't talk. I feel so humiliated and so disconnected because I don't understand what they are talking. I don't
yeah.
understand their terminologies. So that's what we have to change. And he has changed it. He has taken accountability for that. He understood what is that he has to work on in order to mingle with developer, in order to get right estimates from the respective developers.
No, that's true.
Okay. Any other questions before we close today's class? Anybody? Perfect. So that's a wrap on demo session. You all know where you need to reach me. My email ID, I'll just post it quite quickly. It's anubhav.ebap@gmail.com. You can write me on this email ID if you are interested to join this course. You have all the free interview questions available on my website. You guys can go ahead with that. No worries. If you're not joining the course, you can actually enjoy the free interview questions over here. If you are looking forward for a job change and interested in Fiori job opportunities, I do have posted couple of openings here. And because I have trained more than 300 plus people, and we have made a quite a good amount of group, and their people are distributed across multiple technologies and multiple companies. And if you have any openings in your company on SAP Ui5 Fiori, please get back to me. I will post it on my website to share it with the entire world. Yeah. And and if you have any interview questions, please share it with me. You've attended recently an interview and felt it like could not answer, give it to me. I will put that as well in the interview questions. Okay, so that's it from my side. Have a nice day and goodbye. See you from Monday morning India time, coming 20th of March. Goodbye, guys.